This is My Child Will Thrive, and I'm your host, Tara Hunkin, nutritional therapy practitioner, certified GAPS practitioner, restorative wellness practitioner, and mother. I'm thrilled to share with you the latest information, tips, resources, and tools to help you on the path to recovery for your child with ADHD, autism, sensory processing disorder, or learning disabilities. My own experiences with my daughter, combined with as much training as I can get my hands on, research I can dig into, and conferences I can attend, have helped me to develop systems and tools for parents like you who feel overwhelmed trying to help their children. So sit back as I share another great topic to help you on your journey. It's episode 17 of the My Child Will Thrive podcast, and here's what's coming up. Today I have with me Trudy Scott. Trudy is the food mood expert and is a certified nutritionist on a mission to educate and empower anxious individuals worldwide about natural solutions for anxiety, stress, and emotional eating. Trudy serves as a catalyst in bringing about life-enhancing transformations that start with the healing powers of eating real whole food, using individually targeted supplementation, and making simple lifestyle changes. She works primarily with women. However, the information she offers works equally well with children. Trudy also presents nationally to nutrition and mental health professionals on food and mood, sharing all the recent research and how-to steps so they too can educate and empower their clients and patients. Trudy is a past president of the National Association of Nutritional Professionals. She was a recipient of the 2012 Impact Award and served as a special advisor to the board of directors for many years. Trudy is a member of the Alliance for Addiction Solutions and Anxiety and Depression Association of America. She was the nominee for the 2015 Scattergood Innovation Award and is a faculty advisor at Hawthorne University. Trudy is also the author of the Anti-Anxiety Food Solution, How the Foods You Eat Can Help You Calm Your Anxious Mind, Improve Your Mood, and End Cravings. And last but not least, Trudy is the host of the Anxiety Summit, which I highly recommend you check out. Trudy is passionate about sharing the powerful food-mood connection because she's experienced the results firsthand, finding complete resolution to her anxiety and panic attacks, and she's going to explain that to you today. Also today, in this interview, you will learn the connection between anxiety, sensory processing disorders, ADHD, and autism, how amino acids can provide instantaneous relief to symptoms of anxiety, how to look for low serotonin type anxiety, and what nutrients can help with that, how to look for low GABA anxiety, and what nutrients you can use to support that, how to trial amino acids with your child to see if they can help. And last but not least, pyrolure's role in anxiety and how to identify it with a simple questionnaire and how to address it with nutrients, in addition to much more. Make sure that you check out the free bonus that Trudy's provided below this video to all the attendees of the summit to help you on your journey with your child to resolving their anxiety. Now on with the interview. Well, it's unfortunately it's something that everybody struggles with. They're trying to decide how to decide between the different options, and because parents are typically presented with pharmaceutical options, as well as in the case if they're working with some of the functional medicine practitioners, obviously the nutritional and more natural options. So it's good to have someone who's worked with people that have been on them and talk about the two different approaches to looking at that. Can you share some examples of some of the kids that you've worked with over the years?
Yes, I've got a wonderful story of a little girl that I worked with. She was actually adopted, had been diagnosed with reactive attachment disorder, and had just the most terrible anger issues. And it was such explosive anger, and her mom would actually have to physically almost sit on her to restrain her because it was so explosive. And this poor little girl, she hated it. She had no control over her anger issues. And she hated the fact that she was causing this drama in her family. She had anxiety. She had this really intense cravings for candies, sweet and colorful candy. She just loved the Skittles and things like that. And insomnia was a big issue. And her mom brought her in to see me, and they didn't have a lot of money, and I had to really think of what were the factors that were going to give us the biggest bang for our buck, because they didn't have a lot to spend on supplements. They had no money to spend on testing, and she did have some blood work. She did have that from her doctor. So I looked at that, and this little kid was totally deficient in iron. So we got her on an iron supplement, and I encouraged the mom to add more red meat into the diet. There was no red meat in her diet. And she was eating a lot of gluten. She had, unfortunately, the mom had been working with a practitioner that had been advising something that I had never heard before. And it was actually that when her daughter was having these anger outbursts, which would last for a week and then would dissipate, was to put her on a very restricted diet. And this diet had very high levels of bread in it. It was, full on gluten diet. Once the anger issues abated, then they would start to add other foods in. And I'd never heard of this before. And I said, look, gluten is probably a factor here. Let's get gluten out of your diet. So we wanted to get gluten out of the diet. But this little girl, craved sugar and she craved carbs. So that was, the mom felt this was going to be challenging. So she was in the office, and we were talking about getting the gluten and the sugar and the sweets and the candy out of her diet. And this little girl was sitting in the swivel chair in the office, and she was getting starting to look very concerned. I'm going to have to give up sugar, not very happy. She was 11 years old. And I said, look, how do you feel about giving up sugar? No, don't want to do it. And she turned her chair around and she had her back to me. She was not interested in even hearing about this. So I said, would you be willing to try this tryptophan, 100 milligrams? Let's just try it. And then we'll talk about that in a second. I said, it doesn't taste bad. So I gave her 100 milligrams of the chewable tryptophan, and it's got the one at that time had a maple syrup kind of flavor, and cinnamon, so it wasn't bad tasting. She chewed this, and while she was chewing it, I had continued the conversation with her mom, and within 5 minutes, this little girl who'd been looking very unhappy, was very irritated with the whole discussion, swung herself back so she was now facing me, and she said, I think I can give up bread. I think I can give up the candies. And she was smiling, and she was a totally different child. And this was one of the first children that I had actually one of the first children that I'd actually worked with using the amino acids. And it's so funny when I'm working with women, they'll often say to me, am I imagining this? Could it be a placebo effect? Or is it working so quickly because I'm working with you and I'm feeling hopeful that I'm getting some help? Mm-hmm. But when I saw that kind of response from this child, I just thought, no one could ever tell me it's a placebo effect, because she had no idea what she was being given. But long story short, the results with just getting on a gluten-free diet, getting more animal protein and red meat in her diet, the iron supplement and the tryptophan, she was a completely different child. She was sleeping through the night. She was not having this explosive anger issues. She was calmer, and she was able to eat healthy food. So it really, really can be done.
Thanks for listening to the My Child Will Thrive podcast. I'm so passionate about giving you the tools and information you need to help your child. For access to the full interview as part of the Autism, ADHD, and Sensory Processing Disorder Summit, please go to mychildwillthrive.com/summit. This is Tara Hunkin, and I will catch you on the next episode.